Hey guys, so today's going to be all about drills. What to look for when you're shopping for one, how to use them properly, what bit is used for what, so on and so forth. So we're going to cover all that. So this one might be a little long, but that's okay. I'm going to try to keep it limited to information you need to know. So first we're going to start with the drill. Now I use the Melody Susie Scarlett. What you want to look for when you're purchasing a drill, you want one that's going to go, if you plan on working with acrylic, you want one that's going to go up to 30,000 RPM. There's a reason for that. Now, you can use one that goes lower. The only thing is you need higher RPMs to really move acrylic, and the cheaper drills tend to not go up that high. They go to 15 or 20,000, which is fine. You can move acrylic with that. It will take a little longer. The issue with it is that you're using your drill at top speed for too long, and it tends to make your drills burn out a lot faster. So you want to find one that goes all the way up to at least 30,000, if not more, because you can always lower the speed, you know. Now, on most drills, you're going to see a forward and a reverse button, either on the back of your drill or on your actual handpiece. If you're right-handed, you want to use it on forward, left-handed, reverse. So, like I'm right-handed, so my drill would turn this way. Left-handed, it would turn the other way because they would be working in the opposite direction. Now, let's go over some bits, okay? That's really all you need to know about drills. You want 30,000 RPM, forward is right-handed, reverse is left-handed. That's really all you need. I like rechargeable drills, however, with the battery thing, you can't get as much use out of them in a day as if you're not like constantly ready to be recharging them, but that's a personal preference. I like the Scarlett. I've had 2 of them now. My other one still works, actually. I just got a new one because it was a gift. So now let's get into these bits. So every drill that you get is going to come with a little set of these metal bits. Now if you're working with acrylic, these are basically useless. These are finishing bits. They don't move a lot of acrylic. These are what you're going to use at the very end of filing. Now, some of these are useful in acrylic, but not to move acrylic, like a needle bit. This is one of my favorites, but let's go through and I will go over what each of them is. This is a barrel bit, and this is to cover surface. So like you would take this over the entire surface to smooth it. The needle bit you can use to get into the areas like this, right here. You can use it for cuticle work. I know a lot of times when I'm doing my nails, I get either acrylic or something right here in this crack, and that'll take care of that for you. You can also use it to do piercings. I like those for that. These are the rounded barrel bits. Same basic thing. I like to use these for cuticle bits too because they aren't as harsh on the skin, and it gives you that nice little curve. These are ball bits. This is a ball bit. Now the ball bit is used for cuticle work and sealing. Let me show you what I am talking about. So this is one of the few that you can actually use on your natural nail bed. I don't recommend any kind of coarse bit or sanding band on your natural nails. You can use a sanding band just on low, and if you do need to use some of these, use them on very low on your natural nail bed. So with the cuticle bit, don't just jam it onto your cuticle. You want to start at the very bottom and kind of work your way up slowly to push that cuticle back. And then after you lay your acrylic, you can also use this. I don't know if you guys can see this. You also want to take this along the back edge of your acrylic to make it flush with your natural nail, and that's going to help stop a lot of lifting. And that's called sealing. So you just want to make sure you run it almost down to the nail bed, and that makes your acrylic transition into your natural nail, and then you don't have as much lifting afterward. So ball bits are great for that. This one, I don't know what this is called. I think it's a flame bit of some sort. What I like to use this for is also cuticle work because of that curve that it has on it. It helps you kind of get that nice little curve over your cuticle right there. And it also has a needle bit point, so you can use it, I especially like it for cleaning up underneath the nail. This is the red iguana cuticle bit. It's kind of like a needle bit, except not as pointed, so it's kind of a safety bit version of the needle bit. This is great for cuticle work. It gets underneath the cuticle, and you can just run it along, and it just pulls all that cuticle up. Now, let's see, I have a couple more metal ones here I want to go over. Now, once you get into the coarse bits, it's really up to you whether you do ceramic or metal or what. I prefer ceramic because they don't heat spike, they don't wear down as fast as like the tungsten bits. I do have some metal ones, but the ceramic don't wear down as fast. They're not super expensive, so I prefer those, but it's really a personal preference. A lot of these kits will come with this brush too. The brush is used to clean the bits. So like you put the bit in your drill, turn it on, and then just run the brush around it, and it will clean all of this acrylic out of the grooves and whatnot. It took me a while to figure out what that was for. And we all know the sanding band. This is really not for moving acrylic. This is basically doing a lot of the work of your hand file. You use this to rough up, you can use this to rough up your nail bed on low and to prep your natural nail bed for acrylic. You want to make sure you keep that down around 5,000 RPM if you're going to use it on your natural nail bed though. And if you're using it on acrylic, it's literally just used to smooth and file. Now let's get into some ceramic ones, and I have a couple other bits I want to show you. Like this is a safety barrel bit, and I'm going to show you that with the ceramic one so I can show you what that is for. These are my ceramic bits. We have, and these ones are different than the other ones, that's why we're going to do both of them. Now, this is a cone bit, basically just like the round bit I showed you before, except this one is extra coarse. So this one's going to move a lot of acrylic, and it gives you that curve that you would need, like say around here or underneath. All of these shapes are basically just, you kind of use them to your preference wherever it fits in for you. So we also have, these are both barrel bits. This one is coarse and this one's fine. So this is like a medium and this is fine, which just means that it doesn't grab as much acrylic, so it's more of a finisher rather than a removing bulk one. Whereas the extra coarse ones are meant to remove bulk fast. So this would be another one of the ones, it's just a straight barrel bit. You'll use that to cover the whole surface. The safety barrel bit. Now, this is the same thing as you're finishing. The reason that this one is different is because it has this safety curve on the end, and that is smooth and doesn't have any teeth on it. So what that does is when you go anywhere near the cuticle, this is the bit you want to use, because you can touch the skin with that safety part and it not hurt you. Now if you leave it on too long, and the skin is going to get hot and burn, so you don't want to leave it on there, but if you do touch the skin, it's not going to hurt it. So I love this one for just finishing up around here because it gives you that nice smooth transition without hurting my skin or cuticles. You can see I'm touching my skin with it, and other than getting hot, this isn't going to hurt you. And again, this is another one that you want to use this before you buff because it smooths everything out nice and clean, because it's a fine tooth bit. This is basically the same thing. It's got a safety end on it, but this lets you get into those smaller areas where you don't want to put that whole barrel, like underneath the nail, right up on the cuticle, that kind of thing. And these are all like different shapes, literally just for your comfort. I know people use them for way different stuff than I do, but that's, basically what's in the description. This is called a flame bit. Now this is kind of like the cuticle bits or the needle bits in one. This is great for cuticles, also for getting into those little spaces, but you can literally use it for anything. But I love cleaning up under the nail with this. It's amazing at it. And this is like a medium grit, but also works great around the cuticles, picks everything up nice and neat. All right, so that's the ceramic. Now we're gonna go up in coarseness for a bit so I can explain these ones to you. Okay, now these are 5X coarse bits. The finger's here so I can show you how you're gonna drill safely afterwards, in case anybody was wondering about that. Now if you'll notice, these are very wicked looking. See, like this is a fine bit and these are 5X. So the higher the number, the coarser they are. These are absolutely removable bits. You don't use these unless you want to take all the acrylic off. This is basically what you use when you're taking a set off, pretty much. However, this one's a safety bit, but I don't know how much good that does because this thing is wicked. Now, when you're using a bit this coarse, I know it's counterintuitive. You want to turn it down low. However, if you do that, this drill is going to skip on you. This drill bit is going to skip on you. It's going to jump across the acrylic and you're going to hurt yourself. So with this one, you do want to have it turned up high, at least 10 to 15,000 RPM, so that you don't end up hurting yourself. And this thing is wicked and it will drill straight through acrylic. However, for removal, it really doesn't get any better than this. Same thing with this one. This one is the same, it's just not a safety bit. Like I said, I'm not sure how much good that does, but this one isn't a safety bit. So, and I like it because it was black. I don't know, it looked kind of cool. And I love my drill bit. So now we are gonna go over how to safely drill. I'm just gonna use like a medium here. We'll go with the fine. Okay. So, like I said, if you're working on a natural nail bed, you want to keep it around 5,000 RPM. If you're working on acrylic, definitely want to go up higher. And if anyone was wondering, these little rubber stoppers that come on your drill bits and we usually take off and throw away, what those are for are to keep the dust out of your drill, just in case anyone was wondering. Now, when you're drilling, you want to make sure that you're pulling towards yourself when you drill. You don't want to go back and forth, side to side. I know we all see those videos where you see people going like this and smoothing the nail out, and that really is not safe and it doesn't work. Because then you get ridges all through the nail. You want to start at the top and pull down towards yourself, and that way you're going to get a nice smooth line all the way through. Except for around the cuticle, in which case you want to go back and forth. So you can see I haven't drilled this one, I just laid some acrylic on it. It's still pretty funky, so I'm going to show you how I go about finishing that. Usually I start out with like a medium and I work my way down to the fine bits, because I usually go through a couple bits on a set. So I would start with like the medium grit just to take off any bumps or excess acrylic, and then I take the fine one to finish it, or the sanding band, if you will, if you want. Up to you. And I am going to use that extra coarse bit just so you guys can see how wicked it is. So like I said, you want to make sure that you're pulling towards yourself. Now, a couple things, just like I'm doing here. That way you're getting a nice smooth line and you're making sure to take off any excess that might be poking up, as opposed to side to side. Now, a couple things. If you're having to press down hard to move acrylic, your drill bits are dull. You need new drill bits. You shouldn't have to press down to get them to move acrylic. You shouldn't have to let it get hot. If it's getting hot, you might need new bits. They might be worn down. And they could look brand new, but what really matters is what's inside of those teeth. So if you find that you're having to push down or grind or whatever, you might want to look at getting new drill bits. Because if you're at high speed and still having to push, that's almost definitely a problem. So I am going to show you what this one does at a low speed so you can see what I'm talking about. Now, if I have this turned down low and I go to touch this nail, which was my first instinct, was to turn it down, but you can kind of see how it's skipping through the nail. If you turn it up high, it doesn't do that, and it goes against everything. It goes against all my instincts, but oop, see? Sorry guys. Yeah, so I told you it was wicked. Anyway, you want to make sure that their finger doesn't fly off, okay? Definitely make sure that finger doesn't fly off. If it does, put it back on. Unless it's a real person, in which case call 911. Alright, so we're going to hold this down this time. And I'm going to show you what this does. So it's not skipping. Okay. So it's not skipping, but you can see how far into the nail that went. Okay, so you want to make sure that you're holding their hand very securely when you do this. And like I said, keep it turned up, but not too high, so between 10 and 15,000 RPM. Now, this is to move acrylic, but it will grab, like if you're using it on a practice hand, it will grab and throw it like you just saw. You can see how far into that went. So you definitely want to be very careful with these because it will go straight through the nail. Woo! Like I said, I don't recommend using these ones until you're pretty experienced with your file. These are wicked aggressive, so be very, very careful with these. Like I said, I'm still using, I think this one is my Pana, it's a 2X, and I still use that one mostly to take off, but it was wearing down on me, so I got the new ones, and it looks like I'm going to need a lot more practice with those. But again, with these ones, you want to keep them up somewhat high, which, yeah, you're removing acrylic anyway. The 2X isn't as likely to skip on you. And it still removes the acrylic pretty quickly. So you can see it's kind of digging right in there. So 2X is plenty for most people. 2X will definitely get the job done. But I like tools, so I had to try out the, the 5X, which, yeah, definitely going to need some more practice on that. So, like I said, a couple things to remember. You want to make sure you get a drill that goes up to 30,000 RPM. Keep it 5,000 or below for the natural nail bed. Otherwise, you can go up. If you're using an extra coarse bit, you want to keep it up so that it doesn't skip on you. You want to make sure you're using safety bits anywhere around the skin. And if you're having to put a ton of pressure on, your drill bits are worn down and you should look at some new ones. Like I said, I use ceramic, but I also keep my metal ones because sometimes they just do better. Or if I'm doing a pedicure, the metal ones are amazing for that, especially these ones. These are great for pedicures. So, like I said, if you guys have any questions, comment down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. At 400 subscribers, we are going to be doing another giveaway, and I would like to announce today what that is going to be. Anyone who wants to be entered, I will enter you into a drawing, and the person that I draw will win a Young Nails core kit, which is a beginner's kit with everything in it that you need. So that's what we're going to do at 400 subscribers. So don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe so that we can get there quicker. And as always, thanks for watching.